All right, welcome back. Unit 1, Section 2. We are doing two-step equations here. So we are solving two-step equations. In other words, we're getting x or whatever a variable is by itself. Now, if you remember when we talked about that video before, it's PEMDAS backwards. So what does that mean? We have to do our adding and subtracting first, and then we have to undo the multiplying or dividing. That's what's being done to our variable. All right, so let's jump into some examples here. So number 9, so it's 6 times x plus 8 equals 50. So again, I have to add or subtract first, and then multiply or divide. So, looking here, my 8 is being added. So what's the opposite? Subtracting. So I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. Bring down my 6x. 50 minus 8 is 42. Okay, now I'm going to divide 6 times x, so the opposite is dividing. So 42 divided by 6. So that gives me x equals 7. All right, let's go on to 10. Again, same thing. I have to add or subtract first. So this 5 is a negative 5, so the opposite is plus 5. So that gives me 2n equals 16. My n is being multiplied by 2, so the opposite again is divide by 2. So that gives me n equals 8. Number 11. Okay, so now we're on the other side of our equal sign, exact same procedure still. Ooh, paper's running away. So it's a plus 9, so the opposite is going to be minus 9. 13 minus 9 is 4. Okay, so now my negative 4 and k are being multiplied. Again, the opposite is dividing, so we're going to divide by negative 4. 4 divided by negative 4 is negative 1. So k equals negative 1. Let's try 12. So 12 is a little bit different. We see our 7 here. The number in front, or the sign in front, is a positive if there's nothing there. So the opposite of plus 7 is minus 7. So I'm going to bring down my negative 3y equals 34 minus 7 is going to give you 27. Now I'm going to divide both sides by negative 3. So that gives me y equals negative 9. Make sure you bring all your signs with you. Do not forget negatives. Negatives are how you get problems wrong. All right, let's go on to the next one. So now these ones, they've got some division in them. So x divided by 2 minus 7 equals 9. So again, I have to do adding and subtracting first, then multiplying and dividing. The opposite of minus 7 is plus 7, so I'm going to add 7 to both sides. Bring down my x divided by 2. 9 plus 7 is 16. X divided by 2, the opposite is multiply by 2. So that gives me x equals 32. Okay, let's go on to 14. Same kind of idea. C divided by negative 5 plus 8. Adding and subtracting first, then multiplying and dividing. It says plus 8, so the opposite is minus 8. 11 minus 8 is 3. Okay, then I have C divided by negative 5. The opposite is multiplying by negative 5. So that gives me negative 15 equals C. All right, let's do a couple more examples here. Let's do this one. So 15, again, adding and subtracting first, then multiplying or dividing. So I have to minus 22 from both sides. So that gives me 3 over 5x equals 4. Nope, not 4. 6. There we go. Okay, now this is what we were talking about with that one-step equation. To get rid of that fraction, I have to multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 5/3. These go away, so that gives me x equals, and again multiply across. So that gives me 30/3, which just reduces down to be 10. Pretty. Let's try 17. Okay. So again, it's minus 10, so I have to add 10 to both sides. So that leaves me with 7/4p equals -38 plus 10 is going to be -28. Flip and multiply, so I'm going to multiply by 4/7. Once again, multiply straight across. 28 times 4 is going to give me 112/7. 112/7 gives me 16. So P equals 16. All right. So looking at 19, 20, 21, and 22, you can see that they kind of look a little bit different, right? We've got something going on up top over something weird on the bottom. When you have something like this, you have to think of it like this top part is your parentheses, and then it's dividing. If we go back to PEMDAS, we're working from our bottom up. Multiplying and dividing comes before those parentheses. So we have to multiply or divide first before we attack that x plus 11. All right, so it's junk up top divided by 8. The opposite of dividing is multiplying. So we're going to multiply both sides by 8. I'm going to bring down the junk on top, that's x plus 11, equals -3 times 8 is -24. Now we're back to those one-step equations, x plus 11, opposite is minus 11. -24 minus 11 is -35. Snazzy. Let's try one more example like that. Let's go to 20. So here in 20, we're going to multiply again by -2. Bring that negative with you, because again, you want to think of these like parentheses. We can't touch those before we get our division out of the way. So those will go away. That leaves me with n minus 5 equals 14. Add 5 to both sides. That leaves me with n equals 19. Now something I want to point out. Do you see how I'm showing you each step and then my answer? I want this each time. If you're able to do this in your head, phenomenal. 1 step's probably. 2 steps, maybe. Multi-steps, forget it. You're not going to be able to do those in your head. So I really want you to show all of your work so that if you do get something wrong, we can go back and fix it and say, hey, just a silly error. You did 9 plus 4 is 10 instead of 5. So, you know, it seems like, or 9 minus 4 is 10 instead of 5. So stuff like that is super easy to fix, but we just have to know where we're fixing it. And if you just tell me n equals 19 for these problems, I don't know what you did wrong, right? I have no idea. All right, go ahead and do big ideas and come see me in office hours.